Well, I guess it's good to finally get a schedule in and have it done before the spring game. Talk a bit about the challenges are going to be with this schedule.
Well, the challenge was really putting it together, and hats off to Ryan Ivey, our athletic director. I think that's the second time in about 7 months that he's had to put a whole season schedule together, kind of out of thin air last fall and now this one with, Southland kicking us out like they did, and they kind of circled their wagons to play each other twice. The Texas 4, we were left with nothing. And so really hats off to Ryan Ivey, but also those ADs and presidents, these other schools in the ASUN that have come together to give our players or student athletes at all these schools an opportunity to be an automatic qualifier. And so I got that put together, still had an open date we had to fill and worked hard and finally got that done to have an 11-game schedule, 5 here at home at Homer Bryce, which is, I think, first time in a while we've played 5 here. And so just excited about it, ready to, put the, finishing touches on spring ball and really turn the page to that fall of 2021 season now that we've got it on the books and on the schedule, and going to be some exciting times ahead.
You've got a unique schedule, I guess you'd say, for next year with playing with the AQ7 and then playing in the WAC and everybody still making switches and so forth. But does it feel like finally we're kind of some kind of regular football?
It does, and it's awesome to see us coming out of the COVID issues and the nation moving forward and vaccines rolling out. And I know every one of us is has COVID fatigue, and so it's fun to look forward to the fall, knowing it's going to be past us then, and kind of get back to a normal way of life, and football season will bring that on. And so excited about the schedule, and it is a very challenging schedule right out the gate, and playing some really good teams, adding those ASUN 3, those 3 perennial playoff teams. And so it's going to be a challenge week in, week out, but gives us something, to strive for in terms of automatic berth in the playoffs and to have a WAC championship to play for, and just, again, trying to improve each and every week, which is, what you want to do throughout a season.
Now, last year you decided to play a fall schedule and not play any in the spring. Reflecting back on that, talk a bit about how you feel like that has worked in your favor.
I think it was the right move then, and even more solidified that was the right move now. Looking at it. We're going through spring ball, and we've got, I think, right at 14 or 15 guys that aren't with us in spring ball, recovering from injuries and surgeries sustained during the fall season. And so, I'm tickled to death that some of these teams are getting to play in the spring. It's good for them and their coaches, but that's the ramifications of it, is how you recover from a season of playing, where we're able to get those behind us, and now we were able to see some of our shortcomings, some of the places we need to improve on last fall, and address those issues and those needs this spring, and have had a really successful spring. We're wrapping that up there on the 24th with the spring game, but it's exciting to look forward, and we felt like the whole COVID, the whole shutdown, from Zoom meetings to summer workouts to playing the fall, we said the pandemic's going to make excuse makers out of a lot of programs and champions out of a few, and we fully intend to be a champion as we come out of this thing.
Coach, you look at the schedule, you do have some familiar faces: Sam Houston, Lamar, Abilene, Central Arkansas, Tarleton, even as a non-conference game that you've played a lot here. But there's a lot of new teams on here that fans are going to have to get familiar with, or are going to get to see, and say, wow, it's something different than what we've had.
Right. No, there is. The first one being, Texas Tech, getting to go up there in South Plains, Panhandle, and play the Red Raiders, and that's always fun for coaches and players and fans alike to play up in a Power 5 opponent. So that'll be a fun one on there September 11th, and then coming home with Mississippi Valley. Is a school that's not familiar. It's an FCS program, and so that helps us in terms of the playoff picture and everything, having them at home. And then also you've got Lincoln, California. That's a new program. Be new for us. We've never played them before, but that allowed us to get that 5th home game here at Homer Bryce, and an 11th game on the schedule. So those will be some new ones. Jacksonville State, a perennial power in FCS, a perennial top 5 team. We got to go out there. That'll be the week after the Battle of the Piney Woods, and so that one will be a tough one. Eastern Kentucky, a great program we played last year. Central Ark, we've got some familiarity with those guys, and then also traveling out to Dixie State, to St. George, Utah, be a pretty place to visit, and I hope a fun place to play. But I know those guys are an up-and-coming opponent. They beat Tarleton this year, in this spring, and have played well in a lot of other games. So there'll be some new exciting games. You have to look up some rosters and coaching staffs and where this program is and what they're about. But that's what's kind of fun about the season, and I think our fans will look forward to.
You've been through 2 seasons and you brought in a lot of young players the first 2 years. Talk about the transformation of this program and where it is going is compared to what you thought it would be.
This job obviously had some bumps along the road, and it was a tough job, kind of a punch in the gut every day we showed up here for about 18 months, it seemed like. But, we made the decision from the word go. We were going to build it from the ground up, and we were going to water the roots, not the leaves. And I think we've done that with, 2, 3 now really good recruiting classes and guys that come in and, bleed purple and know what it means and want to be a lumberjack. And so those guys are starting to, a few of those guys in that first signing class are starting to shave now, and so they're getting a little bit more mature and built up, and that's what we're looking forward to is these next couple of years. We're going to have some fun times ahead as this program continues to grow and these recruiting classes start to really pay some dividends.
Coach, a final question I have here, kind of off the recruiting. Y'all haven't been able to really visit kids at the high school level. You haven't been able to do any of that. I know the NCAA is looking at doing something soon for football, and y'all, how's it still going with y'all through this process as we get further and further into where y'all have spent more time away from the kids than with the kids, at the high school level on the recruiting trail?
Right. NCAA in this whole extended dead period hadn't made much sense, and that's, par for the course in NCAA. We haven't been able to go out and recruit, but Division II and Division III has. You tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. And so I am excited that we're finally, seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll be able to get out because it's not good for programs, but more importantly, it's not good for the student athletes. And so we'll be working hard this summer. We'll have a full camp schedule, getting out and being able to meet kids, us evaluate them, but more importantly, them evaluate us. There's a lot of great players out there, and those players have got to find the right fit for them because transfer, it's not healthy for anybody. It's great that it's there and you've got that opportunity, but it doesn't, always end in a happy, story doesn't always have a happy ending through that transfer portal. And more times than not, it's a negative ending to a career. So it's important for these kids to get out and meet these coaches that are recruiting them and be on campus, meet teachers, meet, future teammates where they can make a good decision, get somewhere and stick it out.
You've got the spring game a week from Saturday. You wasn't able to play another opponent like you thought you might. What are you looking to get out of it?
The blanket waiver the NCAA gave us to play 11 games fall or spring. It was a blanket waiver for everybody but us. They denied our ability to do that. So again, makes all kinds of sense. North Dakota State could play one game in the fall and the whole season in the spring, but SFA couldn't do the opposite. So you figure that one out, John. Back to your question, which was?
What do you want to get out of the spring game?
Right.
Are you seeing the things you want to this spring?
We have. We've really ramped it up. You get 8 days of full pads, and it's been one of the more physical springs that I've been a part of as a head coach, just as we've been able to get an off-season program in there with Coach Stoner. I've seen some tremendous gains in what these guys look like and their bodies, really change and transform. And so it's been a physical spring, and we've addressed some needs and looked at some different things offensively, defensively. Spring game, obviously, number one thing is getting out of it healthy. But, two is just letting these guys have some fun out here at Homer Bryce in front of a crowd and their parents and family and friends and letting all the alumni and everybody in the, local area just to see kind of what's in store. And we've had some guys come and watch practice that have been here a time or two in the past and they're like, my gosh, y'all have made improved leaps and bounds, and I think we have. But ultimately, you're measured in the win-loss column. But I think we're definitely heading the right direction, and it's keep putting one foot in front of the other. But mountaintop's getting closer, and steeper the climb, the better the view, and we're getting close to seeing it. Ax 'em.